So here we are, a load of scrap I'm going to turn into a new gold catching item. Let's see what this turns into. What I've got here, I bought myself an old tile saw, but I thought it had a great base and chassis on it that I could return into a miller table. That's the plan anyway, because I got a load of black sands from that beach trip, and my idea is to turn this into a miller table to recover the gold from that black sand, see if it does it any faster than me panning, which I can pan it alright, but we're going to give it a go making a miller table. So this does have a working tile saw. I'm going to remove all the saw components and maybe keep that and make a specimen cutter in the future or something like that, but for now I just want the framework and the top as the base for my new miller table. So I'm going to strip this down now and clean it up. That's the motor stripped out of it. Still works great, so that'll come in handy in the future for something else. But this is what I was after, so I can mount my pump and stuff underneath and make a sluiced up run on the top for catching the gold. Let's hope. But I bought this because it's got the tilt function, but I want the tilt function the other way, so I'm going to have to re-engineer it so it tips the bed that way. Now remove the base, and it was that way around, and we've got to now put it this way around, and we will have up and down angle longitudinally, which is what I want. So a bit welding and we'll have the framework right. So I've now re-welded in the bracket for the angles, because this framework's got an angle adjuster on. You can just tighten up with that. So now we've got the base to put in the bucket, and we've got angle adjustment. So we can just set whatever angle we desire. So that's where we're at now. I've just cut a couple of inch box section sides for it. There's only going to be about a 1/4 inch of water running down it, so I think once with a mat and a 1/4 inch of water it'll just be right. We've got our adjustable frame to put an angle on it. I don't know if I'm going to incorporate something in that slot to catch the gold, or I might just cover it over. Yet to decide. But I'm starting to see how it's going to come. So we're just bolting the rails on now, one in each corner. I think I might do another one, maybe two. So now we're going to fit the rails on each side to create the sluice. So we're just degreasing both pieces, and we've got some black engine gasket maker, and that's what we're going to use. So you can just see the sealant coming out down all the way. That's going to stop any water leaking out the sides. And you can see the sealer, and try and wipe that off clean now. So that's the sides bolted on. We've got a good glue sealant all the way down the sides. I've wiped it off on this side. On the insides I've left it protruding, because I'm just going to let it set and then cut it off with a Stanley knife so it comes off with nice square edges. So we've got a nice square channel for the matting to sit in. Here's my first mistake, because I'm using scrap metal and stuff, that there's holes already in the pieces of metal, and I really didn't want that hole there, because when I put the matting on, that'll be about the water level, and the water level is going to go in there, and it's only going to come out there, but I didn't want any water going in the channel really. I might find a little rubber grommet if I can to go in that or something, because that's my first mistake really so far. So next stage, I found this length of steel box section, which I'm going to make it the header chamber for the water system. So we've just marked out the width with some extensions to bend down each side to make the box at the head of the miller to contain the water bar. I cut this up now to make a shape to fit around the back end nicely. This is where you want to make your measurements count. So this is my fabricated header box. I've made a couple of mistakes with the cutting where I could have improved the sealing of it, but it's going to go over like that. So I'm going to weld up these corners, I think. Weld up both corners. So I've now fabricated a little metal header box. Didn't quite go to plan. I've got a reasonable good fit around that side. That side I've got a little gap down there I really didn't want. It's like 1.5 millimeters. I might have to put a little piece of rubber or something in that. That's upset me, that has, but you make mistakes. So it's going to bolt along the bottom, the sealer, and a couple of bolts each side. I might paint it up. So that's the header box. I know that when I've bolted that up and sealed it up, that's going to work fine, but I may have to cut that lip larger or leave it as, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to build a spray bar in that box now, and then it's cutting the mat to fit, and we're getting somewhere. I'm liking the look of it. So I've spent some time looking through scraps of pipework and that, and ended up cutting off a piece of tap to go through the header. It had this brass T-piece with a mount and 2 copper pipes, so this is going to be the spray bar. So I'm just working out where to put the holes. I'm going to put a hole every inch and just squeeze each end of the pipes nearly flat, and hopefully that'll do it. So this is what I've done for the spray bar. I have no idea if I've done the holes too big or not. They're all 6mm, and I've just squeezed the ends, not fully tight, so water can still get out the ends. Did that one a little bit too tight, might open that up a bit. But every inch there's a hole. Didn't quite get them in a line, but I'm sure it'll still do the job. And now we've got to fit it in to my header here, and it's going to be like that, and we're going to line it with rubber, and then we can fit it to the miller table. But I'm going to construct all this, and then we're going to pull it all apart and paint it all. Do a nice job. But let's get it together now. So that's the spray bar located in the header tank. That's sort of what it's looking like. I did plan on having the outlet on the end, but because of the sidebars it didn't end up like that, so we got it coming out the back, and that's sort of how it is at the moment. Line the header box with rubber matting, some of this V matting, so the water doesn't fly out everywhere from the back end of that header box. And then I'm going to strip it down, paint the header box, and then we're going to cut the mat in, and then we're going to look at the clearance we've got on the bed there for the water to run. So I've watched a few videos and it said about 1/8 of an inch. I think I've got about 5 or 6 mil there, and the mat is 2.2 mil, so I'm probably close to what I want. Seems very small to me, but we shall see. Really hard to measure things. I've just measured it. It's 28.1 one end and 28 the other. And I just cut the mat to fit. It's 28 one end and it's like 22 the other, 28.2 the other end. So we'll put it in and see what it fits like. Well, there we go. I've actually got a great line up there, but I've made a rookie mistake. I assumed the piece of mat was square and it wasn't cut straight. So I've got like nearly a 2 mil gap there. So I'm really disappointed with that. So there's nothing I can do. We'll see what the water run's like on it, but I'm really pissed off about that. Well, it's looking good anyway. I'm going to strip the header down now, paint the header box, reassemble it in the morning, seal around the edges, both edges, do it all up. I may need to widen the gap. I've got very little gap, but we'll try it first and see. Well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 2. Hopefully we get it working.